I'll be honest, this episode is like gonna be a quiet one for me. I'm gonna be doing more listening.
No, but you can be vocal as well.
No, I'm gonna bounce off whatever you say, but I'm not bringing much to the table in this
Why
episode.
is that?
Because I don't feel like I don't think I'm in, what's the word I'm thinking of?
You're gonna say position to talk about a
No, I feel like I'm in a position to talk about it, but I don't have anything pressing
to say.
Maybe that's what the issue is. Maybe that men just don't feel like that's pressing enough. Like, you know, you were given birth by a woman.
Okay, let's start.
We've begun. We've begun. Okay.
You started your rubbish.
let's not miss anything.
Misogynistic world.
Let's not miss anything.
It started. We're here.
You want to start us off?
Yes. Welcome to another episode of Alphawaves. It's Cam and Darren, and we have got a wonderful guest here with us today. Shout out Sadia.
Whoop, whoop.
Cam done the full intro for once.
Huh?
Said you done the full intro, didn't even let me chime in with my name at least.
Special.
I know, I was like, I've got the intro. It's us, it's women empowerment, a wonderful, wonderful topic, and we're really excited to have you here.
Thank you.
No, we're glad to have you here. Like you said, it's all about the women today.
Yes, it is.
So
And a call for men to step up. Maybe.
In what sense?
We'll find out. But before we get
In
into
every
it,
sense. In every sense.
before we get into it, Sadia, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Sadia. It's my first time here doing a podcast,
Yeah.
but I'm usually very passionate about these topics.
Mm.
And I think there are a lot of challenges, and I think we need to start provoking some thought. Yeah, let's be thought-provoking.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Is that what you do on a day-to-day?
On a day-to-day basis. You can tell. Yeah, I do that. Hence why I'm still single. And my job hates me, but it's cool.
Just provoking his thoughts all the time.
Oh.
But it's good though. That's you know, I think that is, you know what, let's just jump straight into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's a hard thing, like being true to yourself as a woman, respecting what you feel you deserve as a woman, and being vocal about that really does make dating difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel, you know, to find that. How is that for you? Like, do you feel that when you are in a dating situation, you have to filter yourself down sometimes?
I think often a lot of guys say to me that I emasculate them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be with you then, if you can do that so easily. Like, if me being vocal and me saying in a really, really sensitive and respectful way, you're not making me come, is like something that emasculates you.
Wait, what?
A lot of mercy.
You know,
It could
we
be
started at
anything.
the deepest end, and I love it.
No, it could be things like that. Or like, you know, if I'm like, for example, like I worked in the care industry, so I worked with children in care, and the hours that I was doing was absolutely ridiculous. I'd be doing 15-hour shifts, like 4 or 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week when staff like call in, and it's like this person, it's like, oh, you're now working a lot, and I'm like, are you paying my bills?
Yeah, should I not work?
Do you attract not soft guys, but
No, I attract really like macho.
oh really?
Yeah, I do. But those macho guys, they meet their match.
But I feel like those macho guys aren't actually macho guys.
They're not. It's all surface.
It's all service, and I feel like the reason why they're so macho, so this, is because they're the most insecure. I'm not talking about you.
I'm not taking it anyway. I know I'm good.
Time, like,
I'm good here.
he's gonna say, Lord have mercy.
but it's true. I feel like those are the type of men who find your strength, I guess, or your vocalness, or your willingness to actually be present in the world a threat, you know?
I think I've dated a lot of like respectable guys, like when they're amongst their brothers or friends, they're like really highly respected. But then when I date guys, because I'm like bless
Sorry.
you.
Thank you.
No, bless that sneeze. But yeah. Like, because I'm so like emotionally aware and like my emotions are so heightened, often I bring that side of guys, like I bring that side out of guys where now they feel like, oh my God, like I didn't know I had these feelings or these traumas or these things. So it's like this woman's come in and like kind of fumbled their brain a bit, but not even in a bad way.
Just shaking up whatever's suppressed. Yeah.
And because of like the shit that I've gone through as a child, and I talk about it so openly, it kind of makes them go, oh my God, like she's actually like
real.
Like she's so real with her feelings, and she's not afraid. And
how has that impacted you? Because I feel like that resonates with me in terms of.
I want to find. So now, go on, you talk, because there was a message that I read earlier, and it relates to this. So I just want to find it.
Okay, yeah.
Find it, but yeah, that resonates with me. But I feel that at first I always felt or gaslit myself that I'm too emotional or too sensitive.
There's actually no such thing as that.
Yeah, there isn't. Like, they are just literally emotions, and I think because emotions, you can really feel it in a physical sense. They feel dangerous. And so when you're around someone who isn't used to feeling those things, and then they are, suddenly the thing you hear is, oh, I didn't sign up for this. Like, I didn't want to actually, like, I was just looking for a casual whatever. And I'm like, but we're speaking. I'm not asking you to.
Even if it's casual, I think people often like, it's like, for women, I don't know, I'm not talking for all women, but for me, even if it's like a casual relationship, I still like that human to human conversation.
Right.
You know, just like, I'm not asking you to hold me at nighttime. And like cradle me.
It would be nice
like,
though, but.
It would be. I think that's the reality that women just need to come to, is that we still want to be held.
Literally.
As much as we're trying so hard.
You know, hugs on tap. That's what I want.
But
yeah.
What was I saying? I completely
I'm so sorry. I just interrupted. But you were saying how, like, you're not asking to be held, but you want to have that human connection. Like, you don't want to just talk about surface level things.
Yeah.
You know, you want to actually connect. But
is it a case of these guys not appreciating the fact that you recognize what your true worth is?
I think that too, but then at the same time, as a woman, sometimes I forget what my own worth is. And like on a real, like, I could be preaching to other women, young kids, know your worth, but oh my God, I'll be going back to that same guy that did me wrong over and over again. Like, I'm still thinking about him. I'm just like, why? For who?
Well, you see, like, is that contradicting in a man's mind, do you think?
Contradicting?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like, if you're talking as if you're this person that's able to, from the outside looking in, you're able to see all of these things, yeah?
Oh my God, 100%.
But when it's you yourself...
But when I'm invested, that's when the contradiction comes out, because I'm like running back to this.
So how will a man be able to treat you any different if what you show when you're in a relation with him is different to...
I think you should just be courteous and just not treat women like shit.
Is that the bottom line of it, you think?
I actually have a different bottom line. I think it comes down to how much you love yourself on a real, true level, and what you think you deserve. Because when I was looking at these men and guys that I talk to and ask myself, like, why would I allow this to happen to me? Because I would never allow this to happen to someone that I love. And then it raises that question, like, how much do you love yourself? And I think we are around ourselves all the time. We've seen our darkest moments. We've experienced things that bring shame in us. And we need to remember that regardless of those situations, you are still enough, and you deserve enough. Like, you deserved enough when something bad happened to you. You deserve enough when you've done something bad to someone else, you know? And that's I think the bottom line. Because when I think about who I've been with, I'm like, do I really love myself? Because if I loved myself, you would never talk to me like that. And if you did, we would never have a second conversation.
I think it's just now that I've actually been like, ooh, excuse me, like, who are you talking to? Like, honestly, like, the other day I had to let this guy go. Like, he'd message me every day, but he will send me a picture of himself. I swear to God.
Wait, we need context.
No, I swear to God, I will show you guys. No, honestly, after this, I will show you guys.
Well, unprovoked. He'll be like, morning,
flexing his muscles, and then I'll be like, oh, like, great. He knows he's a good-looking guy, but then he needs to remember, I actually don't date people always based on their looks, and I'm a bit of a sapiosexual. It's a bit cringe saying it, but I really like intelligence.
Okay.
No, but honestly, like, ooh, do some computer science, and I'm just there, like,
I'm like, woo,
fanny flutters. I swear, it's so bad. And when he's like messaging me pictures of himself, like in the gym and flexing, like, you, for me, it's like you're opening yourself up to criticism. Because now I've lost respect for you.
What is the context of these messages? Is it?
It's not sexual. It's literally a picture. It's like you
But
take.
does he say hi at the gym, look at me, or is
No,
it just like
he'll just
boom,
be like, boom,
selfie?
boom, and then he'll probably follow up. How are you? Well, I'm like, wait.
Confused.
He basically,
It's how I
but
am.
then I realized he is such an attractive man.
Mm.
But then I was like, damn, you're insecure because you seek validation like almost every day. Like, and I even text him. I was like, I was gonna say his name. Why are you sending me pictures of yourself? He was like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize. I'll just stop now. I said, thank you for allowing me to opt out. I didn't ask for this bullshit.
Opt out.
Yeah, opting out.
Like some newsletter every day.
We're not even having a dialogue. We're not even like, oh, having just fine. If we don't talk on the phone, we can still have like this transactional conversation over text.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here's transacting me pictures.
It's a bit of a strange one, to be honest.
But I locked that off. I was so happy.
That's so
And
good.
the sex was so bad. It was like
All those pictures.
He
and
doesn't
then
kiss. He doesn't kiss. He literally feels like he's that good looking that he doesn't feel like he has to apply any pressure or effort into being sensual. And I was like to him, you know, kissing is like really important because it warms up the oven and it's a sign of foreplay, and you know. And I had to.
I wonder why that is, because part of it makes me think like, is it a sense of I don't really care about pleasing you, like I don't really think that I need to do that, you know, because you're here and I'm going to get what I want? Or is it that they actually don't know what to do, you know?
I can't give you the answer.
Why not? You can.
I can't give you the answer.
What do you reckon though?
It could be a mixture of things, yeah? Like, it could be a case of he's never had to before. Like, it's that simple. He's
He gets
never had
women.
to.
It's like disposable.
But it's different, like, because you're talking to this person, right? Because I know people that when it's just a random person that they're meeting, that they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't kiss them because I don't really know you like that.
But we've had sex.
This is what I mean. Obviously, you're at a different comfort level already, so I have to disregard that one. So maybe it is a case of, do you know what? I blame you. You just said something. You've had sex with him already, and you didn't kiss him. So you set that precedent that you don't need to kiss you to have sex with him.
No, I was trying to kiss him, but I only found out because he didn't tell me from before we had intercourse. Like, he kept on dodging and diving, and I know it wasn't my breath because I had.
So
like, I know.
So if he's dodging and diving, why did you still go ahead with it?
No, but do you know what is it? I was just thinking, you know what? Like, maybe this is like, but I still want to have sex. I still want to.
So maybe that's what he's used to.
I still want to, but guess what? He's not used to it now because he's not getting me. like I had to end, like within.
That's
a week.
what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's what I mean.
But then that's when like coming down to it, I now know my self-worth to say, just because you're good looking, just because you drive a nice car, just because you have a good job, and just because you're like popular, that's not gonna make me stay.
Also, there are so many things on social media and the internet and all these things about how to please a woman, you know.
No, but like I'm saying, you've locked it off, but another girl might not, and another girl probably hasn't previously.
And you know what? It's okay.
And that's why he's in that
it's sad
pattern.
And it's sad because if women have so much power, and as a man, I think you kind of know that.
100%.
Like, you know, the power. If all women said vagina, men have that. Like, lock that off. It's men are grafting. They will graft.
But
You know
the
that.
reality is,
But reality is, it's not going to happen because of women's emotions, and it's not a bad thing that we have emotions. I just think sometimes my emotions can get the better of me.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it.
Trying to think about myself in these situations, but if I'm being totally honest, it is really hard, I feel, as a woman. And I don't want to blame the guy in this situation, because I think you should kind of use your power, but I do think it's a catch-22 moment, because when I'm in the moment and I'm, you know, sleeping with someone and they're not really doing things that are making me feel good, it actually is very hard for me to speak out and say something and say, oh, you're not doing this right, or to tell them what to do. Like, I feel like I'm being critical. I feel like I'm being critical. I also feel like, I don't know if I still feel this way because it's been a minute, but before I used to feel like, oh, well, you know, I don't want to be disappointing Truthfully, that's how I felt.
That's how I felt as well. Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Disappointing the person.
Yeah, I don't want to disappoint
I don't
you.
want them to, because I assumed
Interesting.
like, okay, I've come here now. They think that something's going to happen. I don't want them to feel like they've wasted their time because I haven't done something. And that was obviously a really unhealthy way to think about things. And deeping it now, I feel like part of that comes from even, and not just men, even other women, not respecting your voice as a woman. And I'll give you an example. So I was speaking to someone recently who did nothing wrong. Like they were, you know, messaging this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Totally nice guy. But I myself in the moment now, I'm not in the place to date. So I said that to them when we had a phone conversation. I said, oh, I actually don't want to date right now. I'm just kind of going through some things, blah, blah, blah. Still every day, still messaging, still expecting messages from me back. And I'm like, you haven't really respected my voice where I've said that I want a bit of space. I don't actually want to speak right now. And when you continually say things and people ignore what you say, you can't deny that that's going to have a mental effect on you and how powerful you think your voice is.
But you know, you have to be like really direct when you're dealing with men, when there's any type of interest.
I've been so direct with men,
Yeah.
like very
And
direct.
it doesn't work.
And they think that's me playing hard to get.
Oh my days, that's
And
so
I'm like,
annoying. It's so
You
true.
need- and I actually ended up having to tell a guy in person saying, you need to respect yourself. Because
Yes.
one thing I've learned is don't ever let somebody tell you twice they don't want you.
No, 100%.
Don't ever let somebody tell you twice that they don't want you. See it in their actions, see it in their body language, in their voice, whatever. But don't ever let any man or woman tell you twice they don't want you, because that's embarrassing. And I
That's
don't
so
respect
true.
you.
But a lot of people don't see it like that though. They just see, like you said, they see it as part of the chase. Because I'll be honest, as men, you're often taught that when a woman, the only time that you take a no serious is if it's sexual. Yeah. Anything other than that, it seems you've been taught that it's part of the game.
Hunt.
Yeah. Like, so until you recognize that within yourself as a man, that I'm at a stage now that if I was ever in that position where I was going off, if I saw a girl that I was attracted to and I wanted to approach her and she said no, to me it's no, because like it's not that, but maybe I'm talking from a privileged position because I'm not in that situation. Maybe, I don't know. But maybe a younger version of me would have heard, and I also think, actually, let me just stop myself there. I feel like the generation that I grew up in shaped me in a way where a no doesn't break your spirit, because if you heard a no, there was no internet or anything to go out. You had to go out and try again. Whereas now, you see no so many times in a day on these dating apps or whatever. It's like one person is telling you no doesn't even bother you. So if you're in interaction with someone and they're saying no, it's not hitting you the way that it should. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you're in a conversation with a guy now and you say no to him, he's just going to try again, because what is that no?
Okay.
It's
There's
not
no value in it.
Yeah, there's not the same value in that no as it used to be.
But then men really need to be careful though in this like time where sexual harassment
Is that all the time?
so it's really like relevant and it's magnified a lot now. So if a woman says no, to protect yourself as well,
It should be no.
it should be no.
It should
I mean,
be.
you can
Take
try.
people
You know,
for face
sometimes you can be
value.
like, "Are you sure?" There's a whole like teasing behind it, but if a no is a no, like, fine.
I'll
you
never
have
do that.
But
Are
you
you
know
sure
what?
thing?
But you have my number if you change my mind. If you change your mind, there's ways and wordings around it.
And it
I'll be
actually
honest,
makes
if
you
a
more
girl
attractive.
tells you no, and you take that no on board, and you're like, alright, cool. If she really didn't mean that no, she's got to make an effort to let you know that that wasn't her final no.
Yeah.
That's what I've discovered in life as well. So
Yeah.
just take the no on board, guys, man. It's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
It
And
really
it's not
is,
by
yeah.
force either. Like, I find it so frustrating. I think one thing as a woman as well, you know, which you have to take accountability for, is just as on the flip side where men are, you know, you have to, if a woman says no, you have to respect that. I feel like if a man is saying that he's not into something serious, or he's not doing this, or he just wants something, whatever, you have to be like, okay, you know, and respect that, and not think, oh, he's saying this, but he's actually avoidant and he means something else. And you just play yourself when that happens. You have to respect what people are saying and give them the opportunity to be honest, you know?
But then this is the difficulty as well, because as a woman, sometimes depending on where I am, so if I'm in a public place, then I will most likely say no. But if I'm not in a public place, or I'm in a street where I'm by myself, and just because of the news and things that I've like heard of women being attacked, stabbed, murdered, acid thrown in their face, just purely because they've said no to a guy, I've now have to be strategic and give away my personal details just for my safety.
Right.
And you wouldn't want that for your sister or your mother. So
100%.
that's my point. It's like, you have to always be forward thinking as a woman, always have one step ahead, like safeguard
That's
yourself.
So true.
So for me, like, often I will like be like, yeah, cool, I'm not gonna come and die for you. If I can see that it's getting a bit, I've had guys that will literally ask me out, and I'll be like, oh no, like I've got a boyfriend. I lie, and they'll be like, you're ugly anyways. I'm like, oh, you didn't think I was ugly 2 seconds ago?
Do you know what I mean? What changed?
Wow. So the
The
no,
rejection.
I look like okay.
It's the rejection.
the
But
rejection.
you both said something earlier, at the start of the conversation about women getting what they deserve. What is that? From men, you both said something about women. It's about time for women to get what they deserve from men.
Excellent question. We deserve respect. We deserve space, and not just space as in I need space right now. We deserve for space to be held. Like, I want you to create space for me because I've created space for you. You know, you can't decide that, oh, I'm talking to you now, so blah, blah, blah. And then when I want to talk to you, it's like, no, you can only talk to me when I call you, or don't text me too much, or this, that, and the other. You need to have that respect. Women also deserve clarity, be clear with your intentions. And if you know that a woman's going to run off because you've mentioned in the beginning that you're sleeping with her, then know that that's not the type of woman that you're going to get then. You can't trick them into something and then be mad when they want something else. Go for the type of women who want something casual to you. It's not by force. What else do we deserve? We deserve to be treated nicely. We deserve to be told like what's going on with you. It's not an entitlement thing or an invasion of your privacy. We just want to be communicated with, and these are the basic things.
Do you know what? Yeah, I'm thinking about this. I'm going to play devil's advocate a little tiny bit. I actually think that we need to respect ourselves a bit more then. Like, because we always put the blame on men.
It's true.
It's like, if a guy's not texting me, if I've had sex with a guy, I want to see him the next day, but he just wanted to hit and dip. Can I force him?
Of course not.
Can I force him? No. Next time, if I'm so bothered about body count, or if I'm so bothered about, like, I want to have sex with someone and it be long term, then I should maybe just hold out for a bit as well.
I agree 100%, because I feel that, and I know not everyone's going to agree with this, and I know that this might not even align to how I was myself in the past, but I feel that as a woman, the way that you have to look at sex, especially when you think about it from like a spiritual perspective or your spiritual and emotional health, you have to think of your body as a home, and you wouldn't invite a stranger into your house. You need to know.
Sometimes I will. I can't lie.
I was waiting for
I'm
her
so
to finish.
sorry.
Really?
I'm so sorry to say this,
finish.
but like, you say this, but also men's bodies are also temples. Like, they're also valuable. No, but this is the truth though. And I get that women's bodies are very valuable, but at the same time, like, I just want to have sex.
But that's the thing. It's not just sex. Like when you sleep with someone, and it's not.
Right,
I'll
go
tell
on.
you. So when you sleep with someone,
Don't talk about soul ties.
no,
Don't
not
talk
just
about
soul
that
ties.
soul ties.
No, not just
I'm
soul
so,
ties.
like, opposing with soul ties.
Not soul ties, from an energetic perspective. When you're sleeping with someone, and I see this as fact, but when you're sleeping with someone, you are exchanging energy. Like, you are giving the most vulnerable part of yourself. Even if you don't feel like it's vulnerable, you are. Like, this person is experiencing your body from the inside out, and you're also experiencing theirs. So you are connecting on an energetic level. You're exchanging emotions, intimacy, generational, ancestral trauma. Like, you're taking on all their karma, they're taking on some of yours. And as women, as carriers, as holders, we feel it more. Men aren't gonna feel it the same way that we do, because they're entering our home. So for me now, I need to make sure that, are you the kind of guest who's going to trash the place up? Or are you the kind of guest who's going to respect that, you're entering somewhere special? Like, do you see that? Do you recognize that? And the thing is it's me who's left with all of that the next day. It's not you. Like, it's me who's sore and in pain and has to pick myself back up again, you know? Physically.
I like that feeling sometimes. I'm joking, sorry. You can see there's kind of two different women, like, right now.
Two different things. But it's
I respect that. No, I
yeah.
totally understand that from a woman's perspective. But honestly, like, sometimes if I, like, that guy, I didn't, like, know him for a substantial amount of time. We had sex. Like, he is a respectful guy, but would I allow him back into my home again? Nah. But you were nice enough. Like, but I'm not gonna continue with that. And it's so hard to just no. But do you know what it is? Yeah, it's like, it's easier said than done.
It is easier said than done.
Your body is a temple, it's a home. You shouldn't let this man in. But then it kind of proves like the misogynist.
Got you.
I can't say it. World that we live in, because it's like it's the same thing as a guy saying, "Oh no, she's been run through too many times. I don't want to be with her. Like, she should." But it's like, you've been run through as well. But it's just that, like,
I don't think that's a similar comparison. I would say it's the same thing as a guy saying, I'm selective with who I'm sleeping with because I want to connect with that person in more than just a physical way, you know? And I think saying that it's the same thing as someone saying,
it's similar. It's not the same.
It's similar,
but it's similar.
I don't think it's an accurate thing, because when men are not choosy with who they sleep with, and that doesn't mean they're just sleeping with trashy girls. I don't think there's any trashy girl. Like, if you want to do what you want to do, then do that.
What about spontaneity? Like, that's a real thing. Like, what about spontaneity? It happens. True. Like, we don't live in a perfect world or idealistic world. Like, there are people that are married and they've met each other for the first time and they've had sex, and you know, just because you sleep with a woman for the first time, her value doesn't decrease.
It doesn't decrease, but I do personally believe that something is being shared and also taken from you. And I feel that for your own protection, you need to know at least something more about who's doing that, you know, who you're sharing that experience with. And if you've met someone the first time and you're really connecting and you're like, oh, you know, like, I feel like I've known you for a long time already, like, we're connecting, like, I actually want to experience you in that way, then that is okay, I feel. But let me think, is that okay?
But the thing is,
well,
I was going to say that, why is me?
Because that person is still, in your terminology, that person is a guest that's come in and been respectful. Just because there's been a short amount of time that you've known them, shouldn't change that, really.
I don't know. I feel like, I know I'm having a strong opinion on this.
But this is the problem about women, is there's always so much criticism. Like, there's so much attached to us. It's like,
that's the part of women that I'm a bit confused about. It's like, there's almost this pedestal mentality almost sometimes, and it's like, you deserve your respect, don't get me wrong, 100% you deserve your respect, but sometimes it's like, some women want to be held so much higher than, forget even the men, they want to be held so much higher than other women. And it's like, but is it women, or is it a certain type of woman that you're fighting for? Because there's some women that literally, they're the prize in their mind, in the sense of that they don't have to make as much effort as the man, when it should be, if you're looking for a long-term thing anyways, it should be a partnership, right? It shouldn't be one person higher than the other person. There's different roles that you take.
I think that's what you call equity.
That's what it's meant to be in my mind.
Equity.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really believe like there is ever going to be equality just because of the dynamics are different. 100%. And pushing this whole like, women and men need to be equal. That's impossible. No, it's impossible. I
think you're bringing different things to the table.
Things, and the surface level things like pay, the same. Do you know? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the pay works.
Pay needs to be equal, but in terms of like expectations of relationships, you can't expect the same type of things, because I think that's what respect is too. Like, respecting what someone can bring to the table, and also knowing what you're bringing to the table too. Like, you need to know that you're also adding something, you're giving someone something as well.
Yeah, and this whole pressure about, like, I don't know if you guys have heard of the 80-20 rule. Like, it's like a guy, well, it could be a girl too, but I'm dating a guy, he's now like, I'm 80% for him, but there's something missing in that relationship, and then there's a girl that offers him the 20%, but it looks, just because she's shown him that 20%, he's completely forgotten about the 80% that his wife or his girlfriend has, because he sees like, oh my god, she's potentially 100%, but then reality is that there's no woman that's actually perfect. So he's now gone home, he's gone, like, he's strayed on his partner, been with this woman, realizes, oh my god, she only holds 20%. Like, and now he's gone back, but that woman's found better.
Yeah.
So you've gone and thought you found better, but then you returned back to good, but good has found better.
It happens. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. What was I gonna say? You see, all right, cool. How much has it changed, would you say, over your experience from when you first started? Can you phone me when I just said I'm recording? When you first started in your journey of relationships to now, like with the whole dynamics of the world, social media, everything. Now, do you think there's been a change in how you've been perceived as a woman with your background?
Oh my god, as a black woman, yes. Like 110%. Like when they constantly say you're the bottom of the barrel, it's almost tiring and exhausting, because when am I ever going to be the top of the barrel? When am I ever going to be seen as an equal? Like,
do you think you feel like your standing has changed at all, like improved at all?
My standard?
Your standing, like society, the way you look at you.
No, my standing in society hasn't changed. I mean, yeah, like black women are in popularity at the moment, but there's a lot of criticisms that black women still face. Like even when you go to like the beauty store, there isn't like the darkest shade for this woman. Like as simple as that. And this constant just back and forth that you're like constantly battling with society. Like in my previous job, like I'm not really going to get into it, but my manager was white, and all because I asked her a simple question. I said, look, you're not paying me my 40 hours a week, which I'm entitled to. This is a breach of contract. And when am I actually going to start work? As soon as I said that, and I said that respectfully, calm, I was assertive, yes, but I just wanted to be taken serious. I respectfully articulated myself, and I told her, and then she was like, Then she went back in and she was like, oh, so now you're demanding. I said, I'm not demanding. I'm asking.
First of all, I asked you a question via your contract.
Yeah.
Read your writing, please. I hate that.
Like, come on, common sense, you know? And then it's almost like, and then I got like this hearing email, and it's like, and then I read it, and it was like threatening behavior, threatening language, intimidation. I said, hey, these white people, they know not to categorize every single white person out there, but still
some of them, and
it's like it really, I don't think people understand. Like, I put on such a brave face, but that shit hurt me to the core, because you see how respectful I am on the streets. Like, my mannerisms just towards people, like, I believe so highly that everyone deserves respect.
And even your tone is not like,
it's not harsh.
You know,
like, I'm not a harsh person. That's something that I've improved on, and I don't want to be a statistic as well. So hearing that, damn, I was like, the angry black woman.
That's interesting though, because saying that, do you feel like, obviously it's difficult to say because you're not a white woman, but do you feel like the way the white woman's perceived in society,
oh my God, we see
obviously it's completely different to how a black person is perceived, but do you feel that within themselves they get the respect that you kind of look for yourself as well? Or do you think they're in the same position?
No, they get way more respect. I think they get chosen. I don't like the term chosen, because we choose as women as well who we want to date, and that's a narrative that needs to change, because I'm going to choose you. You don't have to choose me, you know? We both choose each other. But yeah, no, they're definitely on a pedestal, and I think if more people just talk about this topic and are really honest and transparent about, yes, white women and Asian women are more preferred than black women, especially women that have natural hair, like, this is making a statement as well. Because even the type of guys, like, certain guys won't even look at me because my hair's an afro. Like, they won't. They're like, ooh. Do you know? You could probably, do you get it?
No, 100%.
It's like that Eurocentric feature looking, and it's almost like they have this particular woman, this demographic of women have something that we don't have. I see like black men date white women and Asian women so much, and it's a conversation, like even between me and my black friends, we say another one. No, we actually do that. Another, like what? We could just out of the blue. Okay. And it's like, and when you like listen to black men and actually engage them, say, so why is that? Like, I'm not being harsh. And that's why a lot of black guys actually like me now, because I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I don't criticize them. I give them that space as well, because I know that life can be hard on them too. You know, maybe there's this pressure to be with them. Don't know why. It's like, I don't know, but whatever. But and they just say all these negative things towards black women. I'm like, are you projecting? Is this how you see your mother?
That's crazy, you know.
Like what is it? And I want to know. Like,
that's very interesting.
Go on, tell me.
No, it's just interesting.
You think so?
Because, like, how can I put this? I've never been in a situation where I've looked at other as better. Anyone other than me, like my skin color, my background, as better. I've just looked at it as other, if that makes sense. Whereas I know that there are people out there that would choose to go with other because they think it's better, whether that's for their own social standing, whether that's for validation, ease of life, whatever, less headache if that's what they claim, because that's the stereotype.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah, I know what you're going from, but I don't think it applies across the board, which is interesting. And when I say across the board, I mean across different cultures and societies, because like you said, to some people, these white women are held on a pedestal higher than black women or certain Asians, etc. But to others in these same black communities, they'll look at these white women as an easy pass. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they're held at a higher esteem.
But you know, I had to clarify what they meant by easy. Like, they don't mean easy in a negative way.
No, that's what I mean.
They just mean easy as in them white women are more understanding, or people that are not black, like black women, they're just more understanding.
But is it
caring,
understanding?
Attentive, like, you know, they're not going to put up a fight. They're going to want to compromise, where a black woman knows what she wants, and then she's just this strong structure that shouldn't have emotions and feelings, and then that whole black connotation is just attached with so much negativity. But it's like, then you realize, but then at the same time, is being black really negative? Like,
that's what I was going to say. I feel like once you break down those barriers of what black is, you realize that it's not a lack of understanding from these black women. Like, because you just said these white women are understanding. That's how it's viewed, yeah? But they don't understand black culture. That's what it comes down to. They don't understand it. Whereas a black woman does understand it. But there's that, I think, like, there's a lot of outside influences on what being black is. That's sometimes what causes the...
And other people emulating the black culture as well.
Of course.
So much of a positive copying. Emulating too positive. Yeah. No, but it's okay. I mean, yeah. But then I realized is that I put myself on a I don't care. Like, I know me, and I'm not a mug. I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Yeah,
100%.
Like, so if a black guy says he only likes Asian girls and white girls, I'm like, that's fine. But me, I prefer me, and I know there's a man out there that will prefer me too.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
So now I just have to go, all right, whatever. It hurts, but you kind of build up that resilience.
But if you're not interested in that person, does it really matter?
Of course it matters, because it's like it's not a minority. It's like it seems like a majority of black men do not like black women. Like, that's how it feels. Like, when you walk on the street, like, and of course it's like, you don't have to like me. You don't have to like me, but you just don't like my color. You just don't like my blackness. It's weird, ironic, because you're black. So it hurts because it's more than just about me. It's about something that I'm born with, you know, that I can't change aesthetically.
But again, I don't know if that's like unless you're having a conversation with that person, that's just like a public perception.
Yeah, it could be a public perception.
So then is that then affecting the way that you're looking at yourself?
No.
It's not.
Yeah, like I don't think it would affect the way that you're looking at yourself, but I think, and obviously I'm speaking not from a personal experience, like I'm speaking as, you know, a third party objective person, but
The disclaimers.
I don't know why
That's putting out there. I don't want any attacks.
but do you know what I mean? Don't come for my neck. But I imagine that like when someone's saying that to you, it makes you feel not even seen. It's like you're just looking at me as this thing that you've already decided is not good or not wanted. And then, you know, I can't imagine, like that's quite, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even in the beauty industry, like obviously I'm very proud of black women. They've definitely pushed themselves out there. There's models and stuff, but then guess what? Now, black women and black actresses don't get paid the same as their white counterparts. Can you imagine that? In 2022, a black woman and a white woman do not get paid the same. And actually Octavia Spencer, which I love, she's a really famous,
Love her.
and Viola Davis mentioned this. And then it was a white woman that actually vocalized and said, you know what, I'm not going to do this movie. My counterpart also needs to get paid the same because we're both doing like similar roles.
Okay.
So
You need more people that's willing to take that type of stance.
Yeah.
But the fact that there even needs to be
Yeah.
that, like in 2022, like you're still trying to undervalue me. Like,
I think for me, coming out of lockdown and going back in, because I wasn't working during lockdown, not by choice, but whatever. But don't need to get into that.
broke life.
Yeah,
No,
do you know what I
joking.
mean? But but coming out of lockdown and seeing all the things that had been brought to light and going back into work, I think the most disappointing and heartbreaking thing for me was seeing, despite everything that happened, everything that was exposed, everything that, you know, brought the world to a standstill, really hasn't impacted workplaces as much as I thought it would, you know, like as in certain things are still being said, and it's like it's 2022
Against women, you mean?
What are you talking against women, racially?
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
like
as
all
a
these.
whole.
Yeah. It's just like I remember I was talking to my manager in one of my workplaces, and I was upset about someone that I was, you know, talking to, whatever, and she was a white woman, and she asked me like, oh, where's he from? What does he do? And I mentioned it, and straight off the bat, she was like, oh, he probably has 10 kids. And I was just like, how do you think that's okay? Where is that coming from? Do you even notice what you're saying? And why do you feel it's okay to say? And why do you feel it's okay to say to me on top of that? Like, why do you think that's going to be an okay thing to say? Like, why do you feel safe to say that? Do you even notice that you're saying something that's racially charged and stereotypically charged as well? You know, and that really upset me, because I was like, how do you even feel safe to say that after everything that happened? And we've all just come back into the workplace, and it's 2022. So going back to an earlier question about, you know, have things changed in your journey and stuff like that, I feel personally that things for women, the same kind of pressures, haven't really changed. You know, they haven't shifted. What's shifted is just the attention on certain things. So for instance, you know, growing up, there was this whole thing about, you know, purity, body count, blah blah blah, a pressure to be a certain way.
That's now diluted a bit more.
It's diluted, but now I feel there's almost like a pressure to be bad, to be a certain way, to be, you know.
I can feel what's coming up next. Bad bitch.
Bad
so
bitch.
So you have to call yourself a bitch. Like, come on.
I mean, all right, so that side of it has always been a bit wayward in my mind, yeah? Because if a man was calling a woman a bad bitch, and originally, I feel like there would have been so much. I don't know, you know, actually. I was going to say, I feel like there'll be a lot of restraint against it, but I don't think so.
Well, we were talking about this earlier, and I said, if you're calling yourself something that makes you feel empowered, like a bad bitch or something like that, that's fine. But ask yourself the question, if a man said that to you, or if someone else called you a bitch.
It's really backwards, isn't it?
How would you feel?
Look, to me, there's nothing powerful about it because from the start of time, from the start of time, being called a bitch has never been a good thing.
A positive
no matter how
thing.
You flip
and it doesn't matter how many times you call yourself the baddest bitch. If someone else called you a bitch, man or woman, if they called you out of your name, would you feel okay about it?
We were in like a sexual act,
and
that's what he said.
And he was like, yeah, and I was like, eh? You need to know where my mouth is, because if I just
like, it can be real bad for you, bitch. How about that?
That's what I was like. And I literally had to. I put my clothes on. I can't lie to you. I put my clothes on. I said, peace. He said, no, I'm really, really sorry. I didn't mean it in that. I
just got caught up in the
in the moment. I said, in the moment, I'm your bitch.
No, like, why would you think that's going to be okay?
I want to be a queen.
Do you know what I mean? Know that this is a favor and not like, don't, So that's my thing with it. And it's funny because although you can look at it as like society's changed, blah, 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 I don't know, because it's still people telling women what you need to be in order to feel empowered or be attractive. And I know this kind of contradicts what I said earlier on, but I still stand by the energy thing. But I feel like no,
what you said has a lot of truth to it as well.
Yeah,
but it's having that space for women can feel what they want to feel, because some women just feel like, if I have sex, I have sex. Like,
and I agree, you know, maybe because you weren't wrong in saying that. Yeah. You weren't wrong in saying that there's so many voices telling a woman what is right, what is wrong, and what's empowering. And I decided the other day that if you want to do it, it's empowering. It doesn't matter what it is that you're doing. It's empowering just because you want to do it. If you feel good doing it, then it's empowering.
Yeah.
I feel like women, it's got to be, I don't know, it might be rich for me to say, but I feel like women need to do more of just answering to themselves. Like, forget about everything else. Answer to yourself, and if you're cool with it, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You see this whole society of bad. I don't know. Like, it's a mixture of cultures, obviously, like intertwining. And do they actually win in the end? These girls that class themselves as bad, whatever.
I think if you're doing something that feels right for your spirit, then you know, if you're doing something like, say, if you're a bit younger and you're a little bit more revealing on social media, I don't regret any of that, you know, because at that time it felt good, and it doesn't matter. Like, if it's something that felt true to your spirit at the time and you enjoyed doing that, you enjoyed portraying yourself in that way, and you portrayed yourself in that way for you, not because you think that's what is cool to get in with the popular girls or to get the kind of guy that you want, then I think it's okay. You know, I think there's this real idea, and I don't think it's totally untrue, but I think there's all these things about, you know, a man's not going to like it if you do this or do that, or it's going to impact you in a certain way. But I really believe that we actually have a lot more power and control than we realize. If you believe that, then you will meet men like that. If you believe that there is a man who will love me as much as I love myself, then you will meet that, you know? And that's when women need to be accountable and allow yourself to be emotional so you can figure out what your emotions are and deal with them. I think men need to do that too, to be honest. That's not just a female thing. That's an everyone thing. What are your thoughts?
Go on.
I'm listening
to you, but I'm like...
And in my peripheral, I'm like, go on, Dad, say something then. What do you want to say?
I really want to hear what you have to say as well.
No, it's all good. I'm just listening.
Do you know what he's going to say? I feel like this is maybe reading your mind a little bit. It's like, I still don't want my daughter or my son putting themselves out there too much.
That's
like,
it.
if they... I still want to like protect them, because the world is not perfect and it's never going to be perfect, and they're still going to be
and people aren't perfect.
And guess what? Prevention is better than cure. I'm so sorry to say this, but like, I would still tell my daughter, please, like, can you come home at 8 p.m? Like, because once it gets dark, like, I don't want anything to happen to you and I want to protect you. Or like, when you go outside, consider what you're wearing, you know, have that in mind.
But you could be wearing
you could be wearing the simplest thing, and you could be wearing like the craziest thing. But prevention is better than cure. Like,
I feel like, on the same breath of prevention is better than cure, for my future daughters, I don't want to stop them from...
I don't want to restrict them either.
Yeah, I don't want them to feel the way that I felt growing up, that as a woman, there's certain things that you can't do or certain experiences in life that you can't have, because then you're already buying into the power dynamic that exists. What I want to do with my daughters is teach them better. Like, I want to teach them that if a guy is talking to you, you don't even look at him if you don't want to talk to him. But you do have to walk faster and quickly call someone and let them know, and, you know, call your mum or your dad, or do whatever you need to do. As you said, think strategically, because there's going to be a day where I can't stop her from leaving the house at 8 o'clock. And I need to make sure that when she leaves that house, she's a powerful woman. She knows what to do when something goes down. And that unfortunately means that I'm going to have to teach her things that I should never have had to learn. That when you're walking down the street and you're holding your water bottle, hold it in a certain way so that if someone's trying to attack you, you can whack them in the face, or hold your keys in your hand, or do these types of things. Don't have your phone in your hand, all these things, or have your phone in your hand and put your torch on. All these are the things that we need to teach women.
When it comes to clothing, I just don't want them to grow up too fast. Like when you get to a certain age bracket, that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't want, because the world is so hypersexualized, and I really, really want my child to have that young moment where they're playing with toys
and they're innocent.
They're innocent and they're covered, and you know, when you're older, then you make the choices up for yourself.
But you know what? I feel like that has an adverse effect, because for me,
I'm not saying I'm going to force them to cover up.
No, but
I'm not also going to do the whole my daughter's going to play with a pink toy and my son's going to play with a pink toy, because I feel like that's when the curiosity starts happening. Like if you just allow them to have that option, then
then I don't want my daughters to feel that if that you
small.
I feel though that if you're teaching your daughters that when they're young you need to wear a cardigan because there's men around you right now, or this, that and the other, or blah blah blah, like I don't want my kids to feel more exposed that because they're wearing a dress in that moment. Do you know what I mean? Or that if it's a hot day, their brother can walk around in shorts and no top, but they have to wear something long. But I do want to teach my daughters that, are you wearing these things because you're expressing yourself, or do you think that you are sexier wearing this? Or you're, you know, I feel like it comes at a particular age, because if you have young kids who are playing with toys, and that's the way that I grew up, it's like, oh, you know, your uncles are there, this, that and the other, cover up, blah, blah, blah.
But there's a reason why they said that though. Like there's also a reason, because these uncles are also predatorial at times. Like even like dads can be predatorial to their daughters, and I don't want my child to. I mean, when they're infants and young and they're like nude and they're playing around, you don't think of that. But when you start hitting puberty or that age bracket, I also want them to not be too focused on wearing mini skirts, and there's other things to think about. And that's why I really like the schooling in Nigeria, because everyone wears the same uniform. Women and men have to have their hair shaved and no makeup, because you're focusing on academics more than the exterior. But then at the same time, that can have some detriment effects to it, because, you know, the whole expression, there's a fine line. That's why I said life is not perfect.
Life is not perfect, but
if I could teach you, I could teach you.
I feel like you have to think about the message that you're sending out, you know, like instead of teaching your girls to wear things differently or to do that, to not grow up too fast, teach your boys to remember that this isn't just a sexual,
you know? That too, 100%.
That's
like,
a given,
yeah, no, it's definitely it just,
but not everyone does that though.
No,
do you know what I mean?
What I'm saying? And that's the troubles of being a woman, because it's like their counterpart are not being educated. Like I definitely will educate my son to respect women and be polite and be transparent, and when a woman says no, I tell you it's a no. Don't try that.
Yeah.
And you're also going to learn how to cook, because it's cooking and cleaning is a life skill. It has no gender. It's a life skill.
It's true
for everybody. But like it's more equity than equality.
It is more equity than equality, but I think part of the reason why things aren't changing is because there's so much emphasis on teaching girls stuff, you know.
But who teaches the girls these things?
The mothers, the fathers, the society.
It's mainly the mothers.
Not always, you know. Girls learn things from what they see on TV,
Obviously,
what they see online. And I feel like we have to accept and understand the fact that we are living in a patriarchal society. This society is not built for the success or safety of women. So men need to learn that as the more powerful or perceived powerful being in this dynamic, they need to be more mindful of their impact. So for example, if you're speaking to a woman, understand that if you're raising your voice and shouting, you are intimidating her, and you need to hold yourself accountable on that. You need to take a step back and calm down and think, wait, what effect am I having on this person? And these are things that mothers need to teach their sons and fathers need to teach their sons. But who can teach these things if no one's doing it first? You know, if you're going to teach someone the way that you've been taught, then you're just going to keep repeating the same stuff over and over. So that's why, like, I understand the dangers, I understand the reality, but unless you actively try to change the reality, it will always be the reality, in my opinion.
No, definitely, 100%.
I get that.
Yeah, because you're challenging, like.
Yeah, and that's not to say that I'm not going to, you know, be mindful of the fact that that my daughters will never be as safe as I want them to be, you know, until the world actually changes. And I don't believe it will change enough in my lifetime. But I want to raise them up enough to give them whatever they need to continue building that better world. And that won't happen if the subconscious message I'm sending to my daughter is it's your responsibility to be dressed a certain way so that something bad doesn't happen to you. That's not the message.
So what do you think, slightly off topic, what do you think has bred this whole BBL culture and things of that nature, all these enhancements?
I really don't like BBLs, I will be honest, like there'll be backlash in it. I think everybody just wants to look exactly identical. You know, people don't want to have their unique experiences, their unique looks. I think, you know, some women say it's for themselves and some women say it's for men, this whole big bum and small waist. Yeah, it might look appetizing, but guess what?
I love that word for it,
but
appetizing.
It's not going to feed you, you know, in the long run, because a man will still leave you. He will probably leave you with a girl that's not aesthetically pleasing. It's not easy on the eye, but she has all these characteristics.
So do you think it's a case of people trying to, there's been like a false standard set in society and a false, what's the word I'm thinking of? Narrative behind that look that people just want to match that.
Like, I'm definitely not a specialist. I mean, like, even me wearing this dress, like, I only started wearing this dress 3 days ago.
Oh,
that's a real thing.
Fresh off the press.
Yeah, like, because I thought, oh my God, like, when I see girls wearing this type of dress, they need to have like a flat stomach and a nice bum. And I thought, who am I? It was hot. I said, I refuse. I'm gonna wear this dress. And I actually feel damn good. Like,
and you look damn good, so you should.
and it's okay. And I like, it's like, I had to like answer my own questions, and that's why I think it was so powerful what you said, because it's like I had to reflect and ask myself these things, because usually before I might look for validation, like, who's moving to me now if I wear this outfit, you know? And it's a reality that I went through. BBL culture, I think for me personally, I would ban it. Illegal.
I think definitely people have like actually died from these things.
Of course,
you know,
of course.
It's not.
But there has to be a reason why so many people are doing it.
Because it's I don't. Do you know? I can't speak for every single woman, because, and this is one thing that we need to stop doing, is generalizing, because each woman have their own voice. So I definitely respect, like, definitely will speak to a woman who has a BBL. And why did you get it done? Some women have beautiful bodies beforehand.
100%.
Like, their body was like, I was like, oh my God, like, why would you do that? Like, you look so good.
So I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, and I have a theory about these types of things, and it's a bit out there, but I always try to look at things from like a wider perspective, because I do believe that there are forces in this world to divide and, you know, separate us in order to control us. So whenever I look at these things, it's so funny how before this whole BBL culture came about, there were so many memes on Instagram about pancake asses. And, you know, slightly off topic, but with men as well, before men started getting lifts in their feet, but there's less pressure on them, I think, aesthetically to change. So it's not as much of a thing. There were so many short man jokes. And I think we all need to kind of wake up a little bit to what we're consuming and how that's affecting you, you know, and that we we all kind of fall into, well, not we all, but people can often fall into it sometimes. And maybe I'm too paranoid, but I always believe that there is another agenda existing that we aren't aware of.
And that's another thing I love, because I feel like it's a social, economic situation, and it's a marketing strategy. Like I went to the hair shop to go get some shea butter, I think. I can't remember, conditioner. And I was like, just stop selling weaves. Like I just see Peruvian weave, Indian weave. I'm just like, just stop, like just. And he says no, like then there'll be a gap in the market. Like that's just money gone. And BBL, it's market.
How
it's
expensive that
it's
is
economic.
to do.
Like, so if everyone was to be natural and live in their true selves, the economic would crash.
Yeah.
No one would get rich. You know, I mean, people would probably be rich.
There would still be something, yeah.
But they wouldn't be gaining as much as they know that they can gain, even if it's, you know, gonna cause harm and cause detriment and damage to the world. They don't care.
No.
So I think people forget that it's like the people up there controlling the situation.
And there is a they.
And
there's a reason why we don't know who they are, you know, but
really
they
do,
know who
yeah.
we are.
And guess what? They up there don't probably have lip fillers or BBLs because they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's all strategy and strategic and marketing and economics. And that's why I'm just like, I'm not going to just fall into
The
it.
world needs to do its best to tell, not the world, but they in the world will do their hardest to make you feel ugly in any way that you possibly can.
Are you saying vanity is holding women back in society?
I don't think it's necessarily vanity. I think it's value. You know, if you don't look a certain way, then you're not desirable, and then a man won't want you, and then you'll be left on the shelf, and you'll be the,
Which
you know.
is, you know what, in hindsight, which is absolutely bullshit.
Literally.
When you think about it. Like, if you think about it deeply, it's bullshit, because people want companionship, and there are people that aren't shallow.
I was going to say something so wild then.
No, say it.
No, I was just going to say, if you even look at some of the like wealthiest or higher position men in this country, yeah, and you see the women that they're with, I don't think me and my peers wouldn't look bat an eyelid at these women because they do not look aesthetically pleasing, right?
Yeah.
But they found somebody for them.
But that's my point, exactly.
So
it's eventually, and you might even get to that space where you think, oh my God, no, you'll be attracted to the, look at, oh, you're like, I can feel it. That energy is like, this girl better stop talking. This woman needs to just stop talking. No, but you might actually get, you know what my problem is? My friends tell me, I go for really like unattractive guys, not because it's gonna give me any upper hand or anything. It's just genuinely because I look at the personality. But then my friends are like, aren't you undervaluing yourself then? Like as a woman.
Depends on what's valuable to you, you know. If human connection is more valuable and it happens to be attached to a less attractive man.
But men don't have that same pressure on their looks though.
They don't, yeah. They literally can get the most beautiful woman or like.
That's why I asked the question about vanity, because men, like, women have that thing to consider as well about looking the part as well as being the part. The man just has to worry about being the part. That's why I said it's vanity holding some women back, because.
But I feel like that's when.
Partial, right? Some women, yeah.
Yeah, some women definitely.
Some women, but I think that's when it comes down to what we kind of all said earlier, which is women need to, you know, be responsible and hold themselves accountable. Like, look at who you're going for. It is truly not by force. Like, you know, you're not being forced to talk to this person. You're choosing this person. So what are you allowing yourself to choose? You know, are you choosing someone who's actually looking at you, who you are in spirit and aura and energy and, you know, what you actually are?
But then people can argue and say, I can't see your aura when I meet you. Like,
you can feel it though. You can feel when you're
like,
talking to someone. Like, you can feel a connection. You can feel when you're connecting with someone, when someone can see you and you're seeing them, you know.
I miss him. Why are you doing this? No, not the one that sent me pictures.
Yeah,
the
I
other
was like,
one.
you sure?
Yeah, no, not that one. Oh God, I had to let that one go quick. It's the other one that I miss. I miss you. Oh, no, edit the shout, no, please.
It's such a different time.
Oh, maybe I'm being a woman now. I'm falling into that. He treated me like shit, but I miss him. Yeah, that connection was awesome.
Tell us about it. What was awesome about it?
He's dick. I'm not joking. Every joke there's a slight truth to it. So yeah, no. No, I think he looked at me for me, that's what I really, really liked about him. And even though our relationship or our situationship was really short-lived, like I felt it. That's when the feeling, like I had no makeup on. I looked crusty, dusty. Like I was tired. I had bags. I'd finished work. Like my afro wasn't even combed out. And like we just stood there talking, and he really took an interest in my words. And you could tell. Obviously, yeah, he was like, "Oh, you're a pretty girl."
How does that feel as a woman when that happens? Like, is that something you find that happens often?
I felt very insecure when I was talking to him, and I'll be really honest, because I was like, I ain't got no contour on. My lips are not shiny. I can't pout.
Like, where's my face now? Let me just.
Yeah, where's my face? I'm trying to put and I had my glasses on, so I looked like a nerd. I swear. And I had my long jacket, and I was looking scrawny. And we're just having this conversation, and he's like recommending me books, and like he's talking about women, and he's talking about, and he loves black women. Oh my god, yeah, he's Grenadian. Oh, I should have said that. But yes, and he's like half like West African, and like so he's really like, you could tell that he like really, really cares about empowerment. And maybe he doesn't because of how he treated me, but nevertheless, so yeah.
Well, talk to us about that part, because that's quite hard. Like when words aren't really matching up to actions, and then you're like, but remember you're inspiring words, and then you're like looking at someone with potential, not.
I mean, there was an age gap. That's what threw him off. So for him, we were so aligned in our conversations, and even spiritually, and how open we were about so many different topics, and there was no judgment. And even like, I must have used the N word, and like that's something I don't use, but I don't know why. Like, no, I'm transitioning. I'm transitioning. And then he was like, "What did you say?" So I felt this masculine aura, and I'm like, he wasn't intimidated by me or anything. And he was like, "Why do you use that word?" I said, I don't know, like, I just, I guess.
Crumbled,
literally. And he was like, "Do you think that's a word of endearment?" I was like, "No, but you're an endearment to me." Like, I swear. I remember just melting, just because of like how knowledgeable and how articulate it was, and how he just didn't fit into that like black male stereotype. Like he was educated, like he'd done things in the past, but he just grown.
You felt some grown energy.
But then as soon as we spent so much time, we had sex, and a week went by, still didn't. And ironically, I don't know his name. That's mad.
That's mad ironic. What do you mean?
Mad, isn't it?
As in, you don't know his real name,
I swear to God, I saved his name as Batman. And I call him. That's mad, isn't it? No, I know. Oh my God! When this camera goes off, I have plenty stories to tell you. That is so ironic.
We need to hear them. We need the context.
Damn! Now, I'm trying to find his name, but I don't want him to call the police on me. Like, I just want to know what his name is. It's bad. It's bad, and he's the.
Well, let's review it. Is it bad?
I wouldn't even say it's bad. It's just
it's weird.
It's a unique situation.
Unique. Because no, literally. But this is how the age thing came about. We forgot to ask each other, like. I mean, he knew my name because it's so easy, and he saved it in his number. So but I just didn't. I was advised that guys and girls, if you don't remember them, just hand them the phone and they'll type their name in.
Yeah, so, that's good advice.
Honestly,
but
it's just saying.
Unless you're like me, boy. When someone hands me the phone, I just put my number, give it.
That's what I do as well. And I'm just like, yeah, but now and then you'd be like, so what's your name again?
But that's so wow. So that's so interesting. Why Batman?
Because when I first met him, he was wearing a mask. And I was trying to like tell him, take off that mask because I need to see if I'm wasting my time or not. There's an element like I want to see if he's cute, and he's like, no. And I was like, oh, like you must be ugly. Oh, I don't want to say ugly because not everyone's ugly, but beauty's out of the beholder. But no, I genuinely thought. But you know what?
This is just getting wilder.
It's getting so crazy, and I wanted to see his face, and then he had a chipped tooth, and I don't know. And then he was probably insecure about that, but he was so. And then when I met him, like we met up, and we literally live like in Ealing, both of us. And I met up with him. I was like, yes, he's a Lengting. What? He's good looking. But yeah, I was like, oh my God, yes, I bagged it. He's so good looking. But then, obviously, later on, I found out he's got a pending case. He's crazy. And all these other things. Hey. And then I was kind of toxic. He was toxic. And then he found out my age because there was like a 13-year age gap. And then he was just like, I can't. That's a lot. I'm like, but you're still entering inside me. But it's just that like he didn't, before he was pursuing me as like a wife, like as a girlfriend.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So then that really threw him off.
So then the age threw him off, and then that for some, I just knew like his whole spirit just became so horrible, and I kind of knew the dynamics would change. And then he's like, oh, she's young.
I think that's so
It's
revealing on a
mechanism.
person, though. And I think two things can be true at once, you know? Like, he can be this intelligent person with views and opinions that are important to say, but also to be heard. But he can also be, you know, I was trying to think of what I was going to say. I can't remember now. But he can also be a person who isn't good for your health, who doesn't practice what he preaches, who you know, oh, that's what I was going to say. Sorry, I was just trying to buy time. But it's very revealing when you tell someone something, tell someone no, not give them what they want, or no longer be something that they think they can have.
But he said no, and I didn't respect that no. I didn't respect that no. And no, I'm being honest.
No, I respect
I
it.
did not respect that no. And that's why me and him are where we are now. I mean, I'm not saying like the way he behaved and that situation was right, but nor my behavior wasn't right, because as soon as he said no, I should have really respected that. But no, I really like this person. This is who I see myself with. This is like, I've never felt this before. Like we both just, even he knows this as well, but I should have just respected that no. And sometimes you also need to hear no so that you don't get hurt. Because if I had listened to that no and just moved on, I will not be hurt. We might even be friends. We might be friendly.
That's so true.
Friendly. And we both ruined that situation for each other. And
by trying to force something
that if it was meant to be, it would have been.
It
would have been.
And it would have been easy.
And you know what? He might have actually even thought about it. You know what? Like, she's an adult, even though there's an age gap. But it is what it is. It happened. And now when a guy says no to me, it's a no. And that's why we say, don't let someone tell you twice.
Yeah, I'm going to remember that.
It's a learning experience.
Don't let someone tell you twice. Like I have to duck and dive sometimes so that I don't bump into him.
I think one of the hardest but bravest things to do is to look at yourself and think, yeah, I really did not respect myself.
Accountability. No, my God, I can't lie to you. I feel like it's only recently within this past month or two that I've actually started respecting myself. And that's an honest truth. You got to start something. I can't lie to you.
But it's a process, you know.
Look at me like,
no, but it's a process. Like, even
it's all growth.
accountability. I never took accountability before. I always thought I was in the right. I can't lie to you.
That's a problem with a lot of people.
Yeah. And I always thought, like, he's treating me like this. It's unfair. He should respect me. He talks about, you know, he doesn't want a man to treat his mum or I'm not his mum. I'm not his sister. I'm not his relative. I'm a woman with a vagina. Till he cares about this particular vagina, I am just another disposable piece. But for me to feel like I'm not disposable, I will remove myself from that situation. So that I don't have to feel like that. Because when I kept on going back to him, even to the previous exes or ex-links, whatever, situationships, it was me that I was causing myself more hurt.
Have you asked yourself why you go back?
Oh yeah, that's a whole lot of trauma.
That's another episode.
Yeah, that is another episode. It was like this particular guy, Batman. I realized a lot, and I had to sit myself down, talk to my friends, cry about it, smash a few things up in my house, and then go back.
That's good though, but like ultimately, I think men sometimes do get a hard rap on how they treat women based on the fact that some women aren't willing to take accountability for what that situation was. So the fact that you're able to do that
is a big thing.
Yeah, it's a big thing, and it shows growth. 100%.
And I think,
thank you guys,
people don't realize how hard it is to actually be introspective and be accountable. Like, you have to look at yourself with eyes that, you know, that are seeing the truth, but then still be kind and not judge yourself or shame yourself. That's not an easy thing to do, to see the lesson and to take it with humility and not with shame.
And I think as people, we just, women, men, whatever, be open to criticism as well.
Yeah.
Like, we're so hypersensitive to like the smallest thing. Like, there's a balance. There's yin and yang. There's praise and criticism. And criticism will help you grow. And then more criticism, more growth.
What changed for you to make you more open to criticism and to take accountability and be that way?
I've been told directly, you don't listen. And I had to be like, what do you mean I don't listen? And then I had to, because I'm such a reflective person anyways, because of like my childhood and how I grew up, and like meeting so many different people, and because I genuinely have a care for humanity, like I want to do what's best for like the people around me and myself. So I want to know like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? So I always tell my friends, if I do something wrong, please don't fall out. Like, just tell me.
And don't try to give me hints either, because I won't know what they mean.
Like,
just be a straight shooter.
And that's why I really appreciate, like, you know, my best friends, because they're, you know, they'll tell me, but we had to get to that space where I'm like, you didn't tell me. And it gets awkward. But then you're like, whatever. Then you just kind of go, I already told you. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean it like this. Or you might argue about it. And then, But yeah, damn, it's hard. I can't really navigate. I can't give you an instruction manual. It's just
one of those things you got to go through.
One of those things that you have to learn.
Yeah. I think so. And I think that process is different for everyone, you know? Like, I know myself, I can be quite fiery and defensive in the moment. So if someone's telling me something, I'm like, just get out my face. I don't know what you're saying. And then afterwards, I will get introspective and think about it and ask myself different questions like, okay, what's the web? Like, what's the string? Where did that come from? Why is this like that? But I also think sometimes you can dive so deeply into your mind, you just stay trapped there. And sometimes it's not enough to just be introspective and do the journaling. And you have to also add action to things, because otherwise you're just thinking and wasting your time for no reason. Like, if there's not an actionable change, then you kind of have wasted your time, I feel.
No, it's so true.
Because you can think about it all day long, but what are you doing?
True. It's very true.
What about you, Darren?
What about me?
You take accountability for your mess?
I do, you know.
Do you?
It took a while to get there, but I definitely do.
What was your journey of getting there? Like, what changed for you? Like, how were you before to now?
What changed? I think, I wouldn't say it changed, but helped shape it was being in a long-term relationship. The only way to maintain that relationship till now is to be able to have that accountability.
Oh, are you in that relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you feel like your partner listens to you? And like, is she helping you with that journey?
I had to help myself.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, it's difficult to say without speaking to her directly, to be honest. But I just realized that there were certain situations where it was either preventable or solvable by me taking accountability of things that I've maybe said or done or reacted or started the conversation, just different things, because people go through stuff every day. And like, obviously if it's your partner, you the more you know them, you kind of get to know them, if that makes sense. So you know their history, you know what
why
potential.
they are the way they
Yeah. And but the problem with that as well sometimes is that because you're in such close quarters with somebody, that you can forget sometimes, because it's just like you're just seeing somebody. You're not really taking into account all the time of. It's easy to forget, because you're not purposely
used to,
you're not purposely trying to remember things about them, because it's just they're just there in your life now. But because if someone's been in your life for such a long time, and especially if everything's good and things have grown, etc., it's easy to forget that they may have had a life before you. Or things that they went through before you, because you've been together for so long and created all these memories that. And even for myself, I know that there's things that I still do that has nothing to do with her. But it's just the way that I grew up and the things that I grew up around. And just taking that accountability on even just that, my journey and my growth in life, sometimes it's not her fault, man. It's not always the other person's fault. Sometimes it is your
I think
fault.
what kind of hinders people from being accountable sometimes is that they see what they were like in the moment and take that on in the hot, you know, that because I was toxic at that moment, I'm toxic all the time, you know. And or because I was this, I was that. Like, I think we take the bad so personally, and we need to remember that everything is temporary and everything can be changeable. The narcissist or the abuser,
it can be reversed,
they never ask themselves, am I the abuser? So if you are already like, asking yourself questions, know that you're already on the good side, you know? And we're not perfect people. We were never meant to be perfect. We were meant to make mistakes continually, all the time, in different ways. And until people accept that, I think it'll be really hard to be accountable. And I think another thing that can make it difficult to watch out for is that if you're trying to be accountable, be careful who you're doing that with, you know, because the other person can use certain things against you or really make you feel like you've done a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. And that's not fair either. You also need to be around people who understand that mistakes will happen. And my mistake doesn't give you an excuse to now treat me badly or make me feel even worse or this, that, and the other, you know?
100%. 100%. Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're at that time of the show.
We're at that time. So there's something I didn't tell you. We always finish our shows with a very cool thing. And it's called, well, it is cool. We call it,
Don't oversell
back
it.
me up, Darren. It's a cool thing.
No, I'm
So
playing.
it's called the word of advice, your word of advice. So what advice would you give to the people in 1 or 2 words to kind of sum up what we've spoken about today?
Oh crap. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Take your time.
I would say there's 2 things. I think people need to remember one step at a time. I think we live in a world where, you know, you've got to be a certain age, you have to have a house, you have to have a great job, you have to have a partner. And I don't think that's the case. I think live your own unique individual life with balance. And the other thing is, if we ever want to make any change in this world, is we work as a collective. I think people focus so much on the differences and forget about the similarities. And yeah, that's my word for advice.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. And just to say as well, like with the partner thing, I think there's such a thing of like, I want that one person who I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, and there's such a pressure. And people forget that your life is in phases. Like you grow and you learn. Like sometimes your plan may be to have a different partner for different stages of your life, and that doesn't make you a success or a failure. It's just your life, you know?
I think what you once planned at 18.
At 15, I thought I was going to be married with kids at 23. I got fired. Like I was fully not close to anything that I was trying to do, you know? So yeah, trust that. So I like that. Word of advice, Darren?
It will just be a repeat of something that I said earlier about just go with how things make you feel within yourself.
Yeah.
Pay less attention to what everyone else thinks about it.
Facts.
And yeah.
I think my word of advice, which if I'm being truthful is mostly to me actually, is to not be judgmental. I think it's important to know that just because your truth is so truthful to you, it's not a universal truth.
No.
And you can't judge other people's truthful things.
100%.
I rate that. I respect that
God,
so much.
thanks.
And that's accountability, right?
That is accountability.
It's true.
Yeah.
We're all individuals.
Yeah, don't forget the energy though. But you know, if you're feeling it, do your
If you
thing.
like sex, do it.
Have it.
But make sure it's good.
Do your thing.
Make sure it's good.
Make
seriously.
Sure.
No, that's crazy. But on that note, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Like we always say to all our guests, once you've entered these rooms, it's an open door. So whenever you have something you want to talk on, it's an open forum. But no, thank you for sharing. Definitely share today. So
yes, and you know what? Before we go, I would love you to share your message with what you're doing at the moment with Ealing and all of that stuff, because it's important. And we didn't get a chance to mention it, but yeah, let people know and let them know where they can find you and all of that stuff.
You can find me in Ealing because I will not be giving social media out. But so part of like. What was I going to say? I actually lost what I was going to say. Anyway, so yeah, I'm part of the Labour constituency in local politics in Ealing, and I've just been newly elected as a women's officer, and this means that, you know, we come up with new ideas and what women need, and trying to get women in Ealing to come together and tackle issues that you know that need to be resolved that go against women, and I need women that are black, white, you know, with a disability. I need, you know, every single type of woman to come as a collective.
Yeah.
And actually stand. Like I said, it's about collective, because once I may be the women's officer, but once we're in that room, I'm not the lead. I'm just there to just chair and help manage. It's a collaborative
space.
thing, and collectively we can make change.
Yes.
So yeah, Ealing women.
Woo!
That's
There
amazing.
you go.
That's
On
amazing. That's
Ealing
amazing.
Council, Labour, just you'll find me there.
There you
And
go.
I always by Dickens Yard for a coffee. So my future husband.
Batman, if you heard that, just
Only if you're gonna bring that schlong.
or picture guy, if you want another try.
No, you
Joking.
do not come. Don't come with your rubbish.
Only the women.
Yeah, no men, only the women.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's really, really good work, and I think it's important. And I love what you said about
Politics is for everyone,
collective.
remember, and politics is for everyone. And I wish there was more people, especially women, and people of color,
I've
engaging
never
in
thought of it
politics.
that way, so even for me, seeing that, it's an important thing. So
is an
thank you
important
for
thing,
doing it and being vocal with it too. Gone are the days of women competing. It's about collaborating, and that's what needs to
working as a
happen.
collective.
Mm-hmm.
We all bring something unique to the table.
Yes.
No, definitely. No, that's good. Good to hear.
Thank you
And
guys.
all the
I
best with it.
appreciate you guys too. It's amazing. I
well,
really,
we
really
appreciate you
it.
coming.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah.